Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Etech Leadership Table. This is a podcast where we invite you to pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and join us as we tackle some remarkable discussions on everything leadership. I'm Melissa Wood. I'm your host. I'm the Dean of Leadership Development at Etech Global Services. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Etech Leadership Table. And I have with us our friend Manu, which I considered an AI genius. Hey, Manu, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me, Melissa.
Thank you for agreeing to come on our today's episode as we talk about all things AI and the importance of it in contact center. But with all of our guests, Manu, we call this the leadership table. And when I was growing up, we sat around a table. And I know earlier I was talking to you about growing up and going into the library, with your mom when you were little. And maybe we'll do another podcast on that one day. But did you and your family used to come and sit at the table and eat dinner and discuss things?
Oh, absolutely. So, when, I'll come back home, mostly the discussion, sometimes I will have questions on the, books I've been reading, or, sometimes, there'll be different questions that we'll be talking about. And then I still remember the alchemist. I asked her a question when I, started reading Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and that conversation went for like 1 or 2 hours. It was past my bedtime and we realized, what happened. So yes, and it used to be very fun.
Okay, podcasters, we're not going for an hour or so, but Manu and I probably could. We definitely probably could, but that's kind of where we are today. We just, you and I pull up a chair to the table, invite our podcast friends, they pull up a chair, and we just talk about a certain topic. And today's topic is AI. So you just grab a snack, grab your favorite drink. What are you drinking at the table today? Do you have a favorite drink you have?
Oh, my favorite is coffee. That's it.
All right. Do you put anything in your coffee? Our podcasters.
Just ice and espresso. I love that.
Oh, so you like iced coffee and espresso. Yes. That's good to know. Our very own Dr. Chimney that we're in our human resources department, she puts lemon in her coffee.
Oh, I have to try that. Yes.
I told her that I'm going to respect differences. That sounds disgusting, but I told her I will respect differences. Today, I'm drinking at the table a fruit smoothie. I'm drinking just a whole lot of fruits blended up in a little cup. So if you guys see me sipping on my cup, so I don't know what you have, all you podcasters. So grab your cup and let's learn a little bit. Let's fill our cups up with Manu's great wisdom as we talk about AI. And so Manu, I just want our podcasters to understand that you don't come to the table just because you've read a book or you talked at the table about it. You came with some credentials over in the subject of AI. So can you kind of tell them what qualifies you to actually talk about this subject?
Oh, absolutely. It's very close to my heart. And, I have always been interested in machine learning. Before people started using the word AI, it was called machine learning actually. Yeah. And I was always interested in how these models are working, how there are input layers and output layers, and decisions are being made automatically without a human being. Right out of the college, the first job that I started was as a business analyst, for Kindle basically. And one of the things that we were trying to analyze at that time was the ROI of putting those, Kindles that you see in, the Walmart and other places, like the fact that we are sending these there and, they are on those table. And this is like, 10 years ago, you're trying to figure out what is the ROI like, is that actually generating any growth for us? And I was a very small part of that team at that time. And it was fascinating, the amount of data that was being pulled, footfalls in the stores and, how people are interacting with the product and so on. And I got very interested in it. And then I, came back to Etech, and I fell in love with something that I had always wanted to do, because as I said, as we were talking earlier, because my mom was a library science professor as well, I always wanted to get in training. And I was like, okay, this is different and this is interesting. You get to learn something new every time there is a new customer or a campaign, and you have to ensure that people understand it as well, and then they are able to help customers. So I got into that, and I realized that I am okay and good with it, basically being able to take complex things and being able to break them down and explain it to people. And while I was doing that, I again started researching into where the data analytics world is right now, what is happening with machine learning. And I got into this journey and began my certification with IBM. That was around 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. Then
Yeah.
once I thought that I was ready enough, I went for a certification with MIT. That was 2 years ago. And I was in top three of my class of 200 people over there.
Wow.
And I realized that I absolutely love machine learning and the niche, the use case of machine learning that we deal with day in, day out, that is human conversations. I was absolutely in love with it, and the use cases that we could build off of it. And we have been doing this for last 6 years at Etech Insights that I have known. And long before that here as well, we have processed more than 300 million minutes of data in just 5 years. And we
Wow.
have built libraries on almost every vertical possible. We have automated training, coaching, human conversations, and providing accuracy at the level of any other big speech engine, or any other language model that of, including chat gpt. They all use the same model, that is confusion matrix, that we use. So
Okay.
that's why I think and I'm sorry, I'm going to stop here. I'm very passionate
No.
about this subject, but yeah, so that's
Well,
basically it.
well, first of all, your passion is apparent. Like, that's why people want to pull up to the table, and that's what attracts me to you in this topic, is because you're very passionate about it. And I get tickled when you said that you found out you're pretty good at it. Well, I think you're better than pretty good at it when you graduate top 3 at MIT. Okay, let me say it, and I know everybody else was thinking it too. Yeah, if you want to send a chat in, I think that's you're better than pretty good at it. So that kind of leads me into some of the questions I want to ask. My first question is, how is AI technology transforming the customer service industry, and what impact does it have on the role of contact centers? Because you've been in the contact center industry with us for 9 years, so can you kind of relate to us that aspect of it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I personally think that AI has actually empowered contact centers to be able to serve their customers better. When people talk about AI, I see this happening, and this being discussed a lot, that okay, it's gonna take jobs, or it's gonna replace roles. But what I am seeing day in and day out, every time there is a new technology upgrade in this industry, I'm seeing that AI is empowering contact centers to serve their customer better, be it chatbots. Now, there was a time when there'll be chatbots on the screen, and you will ask it a question, and if you just did it slightly wrong, it will get confused, and you wouldn't get anything. And they were so annoying at that time. And look at them now, they can understand contextual information, they can understand phrases. In fact, they can understand what you are saying. For an example, one of our customers, and we see this a lot, intelligent IVRs. You don't have to press buttons anymore. You make a call and you explain the problem that you are facing.
Oh yeah.
And based on that, so that is one more use case: intelligent IVR, chatbots. And then we are seeing the self-service, the entire self-service model that is shifting more towards information sharing and decision making at the same time. So you can come and ask a question to a chatbot saying, hey, do you know where my refund is at? And it will provide you that information. But at the same time, you can also ask it to make decisions for you. For an example, hey, I want refund for this item I ordered. It looks broken. You could upload an image, and on top of all of this, now contact centers have something that they never had earlier. If you wanted to understand how my customer feel about what my agents are doing, or are my processes efficient, you will have to go look at every touch point, listen to every interaction, and then have a large group of people to make decisions, to understand if customers are unhappy, what are the mistakes that are being made, is there something that we can do better when it comes to training our agents as well. Because in the end, it's not just agents who are accountable for everything, right? You have to train them, you have to ensure that they are ready and empowered for everything. And that's where machine learning is coming in now. AI and machine learning is coming in now, and providing you all of this post conversation analytics in near real time. I'm able to process 1 hour worth of conversations in 5 seconds.
Wow.
And gain all of these insights off of it, basically.
I love the way you said it. The chat box used to be annoying. They did used to be annoying. I saw your sense of humor jump in there, and we have just come a long ways. I particularly wrote my notes down that says it empowers us to serve, and that's especially important for us at Etech because we, from our leadership philosophy is a servant leadership philosophy, and you're like, Melissa, how are you tying in machine learning, AI to servant leadership? Well, it empowers us to serve, right? That's what you said. That's what this does. And we try to serve our customers. We try to serve our team members, our leaders, and we try to serve those that we provide this resource to. So this is able to do that. We'll go into our second question is, what are some of the challenges? You talked about some of the great things, but what are some of the challenges associated with implementing AI into contact centers? And then if we have someone sitting at the table with us that is not real sure how to overcome some of those challenges, what are some tips you could give them?
Absolutely. And that's a very good question, Melissa, because there is one specific challenge that deals more with how AI was introduced to contact centers and less about what AI can do today. So I'll go back in a bit of history. So machine learning models are not new. The first model was built in 1950s. Actually, and from then on there have been improvements to it. We came up with natural language processing. That was just taking waveforms of audio and then being able to convert them into words. Of course, it wasn't as accurate because it was very binary, 0 or 1. The machine is looking at exactly how your audio is coming in and just converting into words. And then we came up with natural language understanding. Now it was more contextual. It was taking into account what were you saying, to be able to string those words together and ensure everything, all the transcription are accurate. So what happened with contact center was, coming back to the question, what happened was when NLP was actually introduced to contact centers, it wasn't robust enough to be commercially viable. But it was becoming a trend 7-8 years ago. Suddenly everybody wanted their call transcribed. This was the shiny new toy that everybody wanted to look at. And then people looked at those transcripts and they were like, okay, this is not really accurate. And that buy-in in the technology starts slipping back, because everybody recall that, hey, I've tried this earlier, the transcription are not accurate. When in reality, today, the world is very different. We have deep neural network that work off of millions of data points. And we are, even at Etech, able to get word error rates down to 2 to 5%, which is mind blowing. And the calls are so accurate, Melissa, that if a human being was listening it, they will actually end up making more errors than what a machine will do.
Oh, okay.
In fact, we actually,
you said 5 to 15% accurate. Is that what you're saying of inaccuracy?
That's correct. I was talking about word error rate. So basically, this is how, just like, meter is a universal, equivalent of length, right? Same way for machine transcription. The universal way of measuring the accuracy is word error rate. And so it basically measures how many words did it get right, what words did it get right, but they were not exactly what was spoken on the call. They were synonym or mistranslated or something like that. So based on that, there is a formula that gives you word error rate. And right now with in English, we are doing somewhere around 5%. 5 to and it depends a lot on the recording quality. Of course, I want to go ahead and say that out loud. It depends on how you're recording those calls, what channels are you recording on. If you're mono, we will be somewhere around 15. But the reason I said that was that this is not a noticeable amount of errors anymore. It's not 7 years back when you looked at a transcript and half of it was wrong. That's not happening anymore. But since it was launched very early, when it was not commercially that viable, that faith in machine transcription, that is still missing. That is one of the challenges, contact centers are still facing. They will go back and, you would want to release a speech analytic engine and people will not have enough faith in the machine scoring people. They will look at, 1 or 2 errors and they'll be like, hey, the machine is scoring incorrectly. Or they will look at 1 or 2 errors and they'll be like, hey, machine, this is not what I did. But when you look at the larger scale, it's not about 1 or 2 instances anymore. You are looking at millions of minutes of data. Being able to be 85% and more accurate on millions of minutes of data gives you everything factual at a level of 0 or 1. There is no doubt anymore. You
Yeah.
cannot have a gray area, because 85% of the time you are seeing that behavior happening on the call. So that was one of the challenges that I see people facing. And the second biggest challenge that I've seen is, since AI is the buzzword right now, everybody is going out and buying, these tools to put on their tech stack. Basically, they're buying different AI tools without having a very clear goal in mind. How do I
Okay.
want to use it? How do I want to implement it? And what ends up happening is, okay, this tool can give me speech analytic, this tool can provide me nudges, but there is no clear implementation plan. You don't know what you want to achieve 6 months down the line. And since there is no implementation plan, what happens is change management is very haywire. You are not able to align teams together. You are not able to align your processes to AI and work towards it. That's it basically. These are the two major challenges I see people facing.
Wow. When you start to talk about, the first machine learning back in 1950, and here it is 2023, right? And then you even say the progress that was made over the last 7 years. I think that now people are starting to understand the buy-in is really growing, but it still is a challenge. We see that internally. I see it externally with some of the other clients, but helping them to understand those millions of data points, even though you might be 85% accurate, you're still more accurate with all the data points. Helping to understand that. I was able to go to Nashville and speak about AI with Chandra and Jim, I think it was last year. And I used the example, Manu, is my husband's a type 1 diabetic. And if we have anybody listening here that experienced it, but there's a pump, an insulin pump. It's basically, there's a monitor that reads blood sugar rates, right? And it's like an AI tool, right? It's machine learning. And so when he manually takes his blood sugar versus the one that's reading constant blood sugar levels, it's off. And so his first response was, it's no good. It's no good. It's not accurate. It's not accurate. So we had to get him to understand that he's pricking his finger once and getting the most accurate blood sugar result. But this machine is constantly taking a blood sugar reading, and it is, even though it may be, a few points off of what the accurate was, it's actually more accurate because it's giving him a pattern of behavior more than that one prick 10 times a day or 5 times a day. So I use that as an example in the medical field. That's the same thing that AI is doing when it's reading your agent's calls, or it's reading all the data points in there, and you're getting, even though you can find something wrong, it's actually more accurate. So that's just another way of saying that. But I didn't know if you had heard anybody referring it to as an insulin blood sugar monitor reader. So that's helped me to understand it, and I hope maybe that helps some of our podcasters understand it as well. Well, last and final question. You're doing a fabulous job of helping us to see this. I would love to spend more time with you. I can see why you spend an hour and a half at your family's table talking about a topic. I can see it, because there's so much knowledge there. And just a special hats off to your mom. I think she needs to get credit here for being a library science professor and putting you in that library as a young kid. So if your mom's at the table with us, thank you for investing in his learning, I want to say. But the last question is, what are some of the key benefits of using AI in the contact center, and how is Etech utilizing it to improve customer experiences and agent empowerment?
All right, that's okay. So let's break this question down into two. Let's first talk about the benefits that AI is going to provide, right away. One of the biggest benefit that you see is improved efficiency. Now that you are using AI, when you think about what an agent is doing, it's a combination of information and behavior. You are supposed to provide right information, search for right information, and ensure that is provided. You are supposed to display specific behaviors on the call and ensure they are done. Once both of these things are done in tandem, you are able to ensure that all the issues are resolved. You are able to provide the best possible customer experience. When you think of AI is resolving the information component for you. AI is taking that information and ensuring you have that readily available. In fact, when you think about it, we are doing this exactly with QWell. We are able to provide automated training to agents now. They don't have to. Traditional quality days, you would have to wait for, I remember I waited 4 to 5 days for my, quality evaluation to come in. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I made this error. But it's been 4 days and I've been making the same error. I wish somebody could have, told me, or
Early. Yeah.
yeah, early, right? Now we are able to do that near real time. And it's also giving me an opportunity to not just tell me how I can do it better, but also providing me training allocation in near real time. It will tell me, hey, there is a training, module that you can go and listen to. And it will tell you how to do this behavior better. So that's one thing. You are also making your processes more efficient, because now when you listen to a conversation, you are not just listening to that conversation to identify one or two things. You're not listening to it to just understand how is the agent doing, or what was the customer saying. That conversation is available in a matrix of data points for you, all the data points that you wanted: your customer sentiment, your customer's feedback, your agent's sentiment, your agent's effort that is going into resolving those queries. And you can take that information back. And this is exactly how Etech is helping our customers right now by improving their contact center capacity. We have never told the customer, hey, you need to, you need to ensure that your AHT is limited to 7 minutes. We have never done that. In what we have done is, we have listened to all of these calls and these behaviors and identified trend and patterns where their top performers are able to resolve these queries faster, and then ensure that this information and skill is now readily available for everyone. Nobody's hoarding information and keeping it for themselves and being a top performer anymore. So that's how we are able to improve processes. People are able to resolve queries faster. It's helping you improve customer experience, and it's also helping you improve contact center capacity. Even a 1% capacity improve is a huge thing, and we have been able to deliver that. So that was one of the ways we are helping, and one of the ways contact centers benefit from this. The second way would be understanding your customer. You would let's go back in time a little bit. Companies used to make so much effort to just understand what their customer think about them. There used to be marketing research companies. There are survey companies that do exactly the same thing. Plus you would have specific research group with A/B testing. You will ask them specific question. Now your customer is coming to you. You have all of these conversations available. They are telling you what they think about you. And you just have to take that information and action on the feedback that they are providing. And that gold mine of data is only available because machine learning is making it possible to listen to every minute of conversation, even if you're taking million calls at a time. And what we are doing with Etech is we are taking all of this information and then providing it to you in near real time as form of QWell analytics. There is a near real-time live dashboard that's telling you what are your customers' highest objections today. What are some of the dissatisfaction points that your customer have today and the trend? What are some call reasons where your agents are very silent because they have to go back and search for information and it's not effortless for them to search for it? Maybe you should look at that and improve the knowledge bases. So these are some examples of how Etech is doing it. Of course, right out of the bat, we are automating scoring, we are automating quality analytics, but that's not where, and this is something very special about Etech that I don't think anybody else has. Our DNA of Etech Insight is actually powered by veterans of contact center industry, like you and Jim and Chandra, and they understand the industry at such a deeper level that when we built this product, we didn't build it as a tech stack to be just bought in and to be utilized. We built it to solve problems, and that's why we have automated training, QWell analytics, very specific reports geared to supervisors, very specific key performance indicator dashboard that tells an agent, hey, don't worry, I'm not going to throw all the data at you once. I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can do today or next 5 calls to be better tomorrow, and that too in near real time.
Yeah, I am taking, if you're wondering why I am taking so many, look at these notes. I am taking notes. I think great leaders, they should take notes, and I'm writing so many things down. You really made me think about how far we've come, and the people that we have at Etech, we said we didn't buy a stock product.
Yes.
It was customized and built to solve problems. And the people that are here in you and Chandra and Jim and our team that works on it, they have years, decades of experience in this. It made me think maybe something you don't know and our podcasters you've never heard of, but early in my days of call center, I'm almost at 29 years call center experience. And early in my days of call center, I was a secret shopper. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, but we would get on a dialer, and maybe some of our other podcasters not, and we would call customers, right, that shopped in our stores to try to get some marketing research, to try to get some information from them. And have we come a long way? Have we come a long way from just being on a dialer and automating secret shopping to being able to have our DNA is powered by the industry, as you would say. So I just think that's phenomenal. The second thing I want to bring out that you said is the help that this quality analytics provides to our coaching is impeccable. For years, our coaches have struggled to find the time to listen to an amount of calls, to give the feedback. You waited 4 days. Our coaches are tasked with personnel issues, with knowledge. And so what you are able to do with your intelligence is provide the coaches with exactly what to coach. We, the leadership development, we teach people how to coach. We teach them how to coach. There's a process of it. We taught you how to coach, like you learned how to coach, right? But you're given such brilliance around what to coach. Here's 3 things, here's 3 behaviors that you can do right now that you can be better tomorrow. And I just cannot tell you what a difference. Well, we can tell you, we can see the stats, what a difference that it makes internally and what we've been able to do for our customers. So thank you for that.
Hey, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely, Melissa. And I think, this is something that the tech industry needs to understand as well, that having just data doesn't mean anything unless you have people who can understand and action on it. And that's where what we have done is we have provided you the next best action that a coach can take just looking at that information and then go from there.
Super impactful. All right. Is there anything else you want to add?
Oh, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
Hey, this has been wonderful. And I know that I understand that there's a lot of podcasts out there over this topic. But, what this one's different is because you were in the heartbeat of what we need. We talk about offering leadership development programs that are in the heartbeat of what our customers need. And what you and your teams provide is in the heartbeat internally and externally of what our customers need. And that is way better than just buying a stock product. So I just thank you. And that's, I'm not trying to just build you up from an intelligent level. You obviously have the credentials for that. Your team, you and your team, and Chandra and Jim, you guys are highly intelligent in this area, but your heartbeat is to serve us, our customers, and our communities. And we appreciate that. So it's been a pleasure to sit at the table with you. I hope your coffee's not cold. I never saw you sip your coffee, not one time, but I know our podcasters were drinking their coffee. There you go. I know our podcasters are drinking their coffee and listening to you. And I hope that you'll come back as we can kind of dive in a little more about AI and share some of that brilliant brain you've got with us.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to talk more, Manus. I'm very passionate on the subject, and I just love the application that AI has into contact centers.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your talents with Etech, and I'll talk to you soon. Until next time, podcasters, keep your coffee warm, get you a snack, and we'll see you on the next Etech Leadership Table. Thank you.